Called order. We have a quorum. All four members are present. And it is 6:03. So we have minutes from 1/20/2021. I think I attached them to the last email, even though I sent them out before, a few months ago. But so if I could get a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to approve.
By Gary, second by Mark Zacuso.
Yes, Mark Zacuso, second.
All right. Just in the way of some housekeeping, this meeting is being held. It is recorded and it is being held under the auspices of Governor's executive order. So all votes have to be roll call. So we're going to do that. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none. Joanne, yes or no?
Yep.
Yes. Gary?
Yes.
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And myself is a yes, so it's approved. They're approved unanimously. I don't see any public, so there will be no public comment, I believe.
Check the waiting room.
Yeah, I'm looking at there's not that many people on the screen, so I got the participants window up. So
Gotcha.
So if I wasn't texting, I would have had you right away. Let's see. The only email I got that's really relevant right now is the one Tony just sent out. So if you would, I'll leave that. And with the I guess the latest financials, I can find my updating the lighting issues, the wing. The wiring's been completed for the poles. Most are working. There are a couple lighting units that need to be replaced. They were ordered 4.5 or 4.6, along with the 2 units that need to be mounted on the building. See all at 6. So that was Tony's email, and he's got the copy of the financials attached. I'll include those with the minutes. Tony, tell you what, since I'm using your name in vain here, why don't you go ahead and unmute and tell us what you know or what you don't know under reports.
Okay. In doing the March ones, there was some adjustments that needed to be made to the January and February ones. So I just sent them all out in bulk together there. The one thing that was on the February, there was an overcharge from the finance department in the January one, and then the correction, unfortunately, should have hit in January. It didn't, so it looks a little weird. It shows as a credit expense, but you're back on track. It's not material in any nature. I've not done any additional billing to the rink. I still need to go through and compare and do the reconciliation between the audits as to how they categorized stuff and compare it to how I had categorized items, and to make sure that they're in sync. They had indicated that they had I can't think of the CPA's name at the moment, but he had categorized a couple of items differently, and I just need to kind of tie them back out and see where they are, which sounds really easy, but we've just been busy, to say the least. And then I've had some medical issues over the last 4 weeks, and that's kind of limited some of my time working in general.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, the finance department is running short on personnel right this second. They're in the middle of bringing 2 people on, I believe, right?
Yes, we hired another accounting generalist, and then focusing on the Board of Ed payroll side, and right. Someone that was already, so we have 4 people in that position. Unfortunately, one of them is taking a position in the Human Resources Department in a couple weeks. So we're looking for yet another person there. We did interviews for a new accountant today, and there were 5 candidates. And hopefully it looks okay that we may be having someone from that group to extend an offer here in the next week or so. So hopefully that will go off, and then we can at least get to full strength, and then just get everybody up to speed and that type of a thing. So
Obviously, we're dealing with a budget right now, obviously, so that's.
yeah, that's that and a bunch of other fun things, grant related from COVID and that type of stuff to take has taken precedent, to say the least.
Yep.
Understand.
All right. Are there any other reports? Shannon, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
I do have a report ready. I can go over it, or I can
Sure.
email it to everybody.
How about both? Go ahead and go
no
over
problem.
it. And
All right, let me find it. Sorry. All right, so I don't think I've done a report since, I couldn't find one since November, so I kind of went to that point on. So sports were paused in Connecticut from November 23rd to January 21st. We were able to resume practices for youth hockey on the 19th of January. Games couldn't start again until February 1st, so it kind of, I think it was like around 7 weeks that we weren't allowed to have any sort of organized sports. During that time frame, we offered limited public skating. They had to be capped for our capacity, and stick time sessions. We did still run stick time, but no one was allowed to organize and play. It was more like you could shoot around. We had freestyle sessions and learn to skate classes, but the cap was 4 skaters per class, so it was pretty limited during that time frame. Starting February 1st, everything opened back up. The youth hockey was able to extend their season a little bit. They went through March. They were trying to extend through April. I just think there was too many conflicts with other sports, spring sports. So they couldn't really keep the kids going that long. The Adult Hockey League resumed their games on the 1st of February. They finished their season the end of March. We went right into the next season after that. We did have Woodstock Academy use our rink for quite a while because their rink didn't open because of COVID. So I think they had about 4 or 5 slots a week from the beginning of February through March. Eastern Connecticut University rented some ice through, actually in the early part, so some in October and November, and also some in February and March. We had the Coast Guard hockey team rented ice for March and part of April, so we did have some new groups, so that was good. We did start a New York Rangers Learn to Play program. It took a while. We started organizing in the fall, but because of all the sports stuff, it didn't really get going until March 20th, but it was very successful. The cap was 60 skaters, and we had, I think, 58. So that went really good, and I think it'll be a great feeder program for the Seahawks, which we didn't currently have. And Coach Ryan O'Connell was hired by the Rangers to lead the program. They did send a coach, Coach Lou, I'm not sure his last name, but he comes every week and kind of just makes sure it maintains the guidelines that they want for the program. Let's see what else. So Seb does his power skating class. We have 2 nights. Total, he has 66 skaters in those 2 nights. I apologize because I'm not going to say his name right, but Coach Jim, who was the Red Hawks coach. Motika. And along with Mike McCullough are running the spring hockey clinics. They're a little slow going, especially the midget group. And I think a lot of those kids have other conflicts in the spring and summer, but we do have 45 participants in those. We're working on scheduling, summer camps and learn to skate things. So maintenance, Tony touched on this a little bit. They did come in the winter for the lights. Unfortunately, there was a lot of bedding. I guess the squirrels have been in the poles and it was frozen, so they weren't able to do much until recently when everything thawed out, but they did come back, I believe, in the beginning of April, and they got most of them working. They did say they had to reorder some parts, so they would be back. The only other really maintenance, we did a lot of maintenance while we were closed over the summer, so the only really other big maintenance thing that has come up is in March, a mount bracket on the drive shaft for the Zamboni broke. It wasn't usable, but luckily we were able to get a mobile welder in right away, and we only really lost a couple of hours, had to reschedule 2 games, and that was about it. That's all.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. And I'll send a copy of it over to everyone too.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
That's make my life easier. Okay. So there hasn't been any. Tony, there's been no communication with Lisa or anything like that. You said you didn't bill them for, correct?
That is correct. I figured it, I wasn't quite sure what we were kind of looking at in regards to with COVID from last year. And also just trying to get a handle on what the other reconcilement between their auditor and what we had taken for credits off of rent that was due, and just tying those things out. So once I get that wrapped up, we'll bring that to you guys. We'll have a chat about that, and then if there's anything else, Lisa had mentioned in the October meeting, November meeting, I forgot when you guys said October, that, you know, obviously a major effect on them with COVID and looking for some assistance there. So try to wrap that up and then kind of figure out where we are, or if we're going to do anything in regards to that.
Yeah, obviously that we got to know the foundational stuff before we could do that.
Correct.
All right.
Do you think that would be something possible before the year closes on June 30th?
Yes, it will be. It needs to be done. May is a week and a half away, but it needs to be done in May, in all honesty, so that you have a chance to kind of take a look at that. And then if you guys need to set up and do a special meeting to discuss that. So you have that type of information to kind of move forward. We'd like to be able to then kind of adjust that for the June month end, whether it's done actually as of June 30th, or if it doesn't actually take effect and occur until, let's say, July, and state it back.
Backdate it. Yep.
Because otherwise that would mean the financials and the audit from last year, so June 30th of 2020, and if we could get it corrected, whatever, if there's some adjustments that need to be done for 6/30 of 2020, it's kind of the two wrongs kind of make a right, so that it would net out within those 2 years, as opposed to carrying it into yet a third year, which is always much more difficult to kind of track this. Not currently now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when other people are involved in the process and they're trying to figure out what happened and why.
No, I completely agree.
To have it
done and reconciled in June and not carried another fiscal year.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Anything else on the on that issue? Can anyone think of anything?
Of course, I have some questions, but I'll wait for the special meeting. So, I mean, they don't have to be answered now. I know there's some GASB changes for the government on lease and leasehold information. So I wasn't sure how that was going to impact us and the receivables, and how we're going to list that, and not billing and not recording that receivable. So we can wait till the special meeting.
Yes. There is
just a question or two. That's it.
Yeah, some of that stuff. With the government board, some of the stuff was they kind of kicked some of the cans down the road an extra year because of COVID and implementing things. And the way that leases changed, the treatment of it is a little more, regardless of if it's a capital lease or an operating lease. It's kind of treated more similar, as opposed to before when they were dissimilar as to the approach of it. So we'll do a little overview as to what that would change in general, and then kind of try to how that would affect with whatever your decisions are in regard to rent, if there are any.
And the things that you're reconciling, is that impactful of the $164,000 in the leasehold expenses? Are those one and the same, or are those different?
Yeah, that's yes. Those are part of the same. Yes.
Part of the same. All right.
Yep.
So, because that could be potential CapEx, and then amortize over the life of the loan, since we're lease, because the lease is going to be up. before the potential life of the expenses.
True.
Special meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of accounting gibberish. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, my eyes are glazing over
Sorry.
already.
Yeah,
It makes difference when we finish out this fiscal year, close out last fiscal year's variances and carry it into the new fiscal year for 22. So it does make a difference.
Second you use the A word, I'm like, all right, it's over. Amortization. That's just so. All right. I'm just joking, of course. Okay. Anything else then on that issue? I don't think so. I think Joanne pretty much covered it. It's what I figured when I asked. Is there anything else that needs to be brought with it before the authority? Shannon, any other issues?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Anyone else need anything they want to bring up? If not, then this will be a blessedly short meeting. Oh, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
well, just for Shannon, because we don't always catch up. Hey, Shannon, if the ravine, I know we try to get that set up so it's cleaned out. So I have it on my Outlook calendar to rattle Public Works Cage to
Okay.
go over there and do some time towards the end of June. And so if you don't see anything, put on your calendar by July 1st.
Yeah, it's actually not really bad yet. It hasn't really done its annual crazy growth. But
Yeah.
somebody cleaned out the front area. I think it might have been the golf course. It looks like they're doing some work over there, but near our mailbox, there's usually a big weird bush or a bunch of prickers. They cleared all of that out, so I wasn't sure. It was done early in the morning because it was done by the time I got there one day. So
Yeah, they're trying to catch up on some stuff on their side, but just if you don't see anything about it on the 4th of July, just yell at me again and I'll chase down Public Works again in regards to that, just so that it doesn't get too far behind. That
Okay.
was it.
And did they give you any indication on how long it would take them for them to get the parts for the rest of the lights? Oh, I can't hear you, Tony.
Yeah, muted.
Oh.
Sorry. When I talked to JJ earlier in the week, he didn't have anything. He said he hopes to God they're not coming from China because
Oh.
materials are still kind of.
Probably still in the Suez.
Yeah, I recently
Yeah.
ordered something. It came from China. It took like 47 days, and it was wrong when it came. So.
Oh,
So hopefully it'll be pretty timely, and we'll have it in the next couple weeks. And
Right.
it'll
They
be-
got the important ones because the ones at the end of the driveway when you first pull in were not working before, but they got those working. So it's just a few inner part, but I think there's enough around them working to where it's at least safe for now.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
That was it.
I'm concerned about lighting because it's a safety issue to me, so that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we probably should try to do something where we test those in, late September, early October. So if we have issues, we can try to jump on them a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Shannon, if you notice anything, don't hesitate to reach out and let them know.
Yeah, absolutely. There must be some short or something somewhere because I think I've been at the rink almost 11 years and they've all been fixed maybe 8 or 9 times throughout that
Yeah,
time.
well,
So,
part of the problem sometimes too is that all those wires, you have conduits running underneath everything, and
Yeah.
those things get crushed over time, or a whole bunch of stuff can happen,
well,
so
I
you
was
never know.
I was standing with the electrician when he was cleaning one of the poles out,
Oh,
and
and
so much nesting, bones.
Lots of
I don't know
squirrels.
what was in there.
Oh,
but
really?
so much stuff came out.
oh my
And
goodness.
we do have a lot of squirrels there, so I think they're.
I
they're
was
living.
cleaning out my barn last week actually, and I was running into some of the same stuff. So, what are you gonna do? It's outside, they find a place to nest,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else? I don't
can
believe
we do
so.
can we schedule a special meeting now as like a benchmark?
Probably
Or do we
best
have
to
to
wait. Yeah, probably best to wait until we have a definitive, answer from Tony as far as what, that we actually have a report. So,
I was thinking like May
I-
15th or something.
I don't know.
We can wait. I just
yeah,
wanted to put something on the calendar to shoot for.
Hang on, let me look.
If all put in our calendar now, we'll be available then.
Well, third Wednesday is the 19th.
Of May.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we can't cancel it, but
Yeah.
at least we have a placeholder and something to shoot at.
All right.
Shoot
All right. Tony, you think that's realistic? It's not
Yeah,
a lot of time.
Let's shoot for it.
Okay.
Let's make it happen.
All right, I'll put it
Right.
on the schedule. I'll put it on the city calendar, and I'll book it. I don't know. We could probably. There's enough space in the room at the rink. I don't know. We could probably do it there, but I think as long as we can. I think the Zoom thing works pretty good for everybody right now. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the third Wednesday, you guys have your meeting, and the golf course have their meeting. If you're doing on the 19th, do you really need, with a notice, do you really need to do it as a special meeting? I mean, you can if you want
If I
to.
post it, I think I need 30. I think I need 30 days.
Okay.
I got.
Do you want to push it out until the 26th? Oh, no, that's almost Memorial Day weekend. Oh,
Well, no,
I could
I
call
think
in
that
from-
matters.
Yeah.
Third Wednesday is the 28th. That's the middle of the week. Work's still got to be done. And then that weekend coming up is
right.
Memorial Day weekend. But
I just thought if we pushed it one more week, then it wouldn't be conflict with the golf. If that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. That starts at 7, and I was talking to Attorney Driscoll today in regards to what was, with meeting in person and all that kind of good stuff. So it looks like it doesn't expire until the 20th.
with the executive order,
Yeah, the way the change was. So I'm not sure you'd be able to meet in person on the 19th there, and it's a small enough group, so you probably can.
well, I'm not trying to. I wasn't necessarily going to try to do that. I thought maybe
Zoom
one
is
more.
fine.
Yeah, I think we're good
Okay.
with. I think we're good with Zoom.
Okay,
So
that-
this
that-
seems
yeah,
to work.
that's fine by me. And as soon as I get the report out with the reconciliation, I'll send it off to you guys, and then I'll send it off to Lisa and to their accountant and try to hone in on the numbers so that we have some consensus.
Good. So one clarification. So are we talking the 28th now?
26?
Whatever it is. Hang on.
Well, the 19th was what you initially said, and the 26th,
Oh yeah, I'm looking at April here. Hang on. Yeah, 26th.
you want to do the 26th?
Yeah.
Okay,
We talking 26 now? Is everyone on board?
I'm okay with
All
that.
right, everyone's on board, I guess. No objections?
Yeah.
All right, May 26th.
I'll be on the West Coast, but I'll call in.
Okay. All right, I'll set up a Zoom for that. I'll send everyone an invite. Okay?
Okay,
That'll work. I think that'll work better for the city calendar too anyway, because I know I got an ad hoc on the 19th that like another one of those 6:30 deals, which I'm going to go to right after I'm done here.
okay.
All right, special.
Thank you.
All right, good. I guess with that, a motion to adjourn will be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Joanne, second
Second.
by Gary.
Gary's senior, you can have it.
Yeah, I saw his hand first. All right, all in favor, Joanne? Yes.
Yes.
Gary? Yes. Mark Zacuso?
Yes.
Yes. And myself, yes. We stand adjourned at 6:28. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Shannon.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks for
Tony.
coming in, Shannon. Take care. Have a good one.